Oh, well, if you can't tell by the title of this video, this has been a very rough Anthrocon. Before I get too deep into the video, though, I just want to say that I'm not going to be going over every single detail that I did at the con. This is a very quiet con that I went to. Just wanted to hang out with friends, and that's pretty much it. Only really advertised me going to this on my Discord server, as well as a few streams, and that was it. Basically, all I done was eat, sleep, walk around the con center, and go to the waterfront every night because honestly, if you ever go to AC, that's one of the biggest reasons why I think anybody should take and go to AC, really, is the nightlife. It's basically a 24-hour con. There's always something to do at the waterfront. Doesn't matter what time of day it is. But anyway, yeah, I got scammed out of a room at Anthrocon. It all started in early June when I was trying to get everything together because I realized, oh, I might actually be able to go to Anthrocon this year. So I was looking for a room and some roommates, and I managed to find a pretty decent one, or a decent priced one at the very least. I wouldn't call it great, at the Windham. And the reason why it wasn't so great is because the Windham is a bit of a distance from the con center. It's still within walking distance, but it's a long walk. So I had two roommates, but unfortunately one of them had to cancel and the other one decided to go to a different room, which I'm like, okay, that's fine. I will just use that as an excuse to not go to the Windham and find a place somewhere else. Especially since the website that I was going to book it through was kind of sketchy, not very good reviews, had a really bad reputation, and the ratings on it was like 1.6 on most websites, so I dodged a bullet there, only to step in front of a moving train. So at this point, I made it a little bit more public that I was going to Anthrocon in order to find a room, and I found several offers actually. But this particular one was a lot more favorable. It was still $250, which I was like, okay, that's fine. I expected to pay that anyway for just about any hotel that I was going to stay in. It was at the Westin, which for those who don't know, the Westin is the main con hotel. And I was allowed to bring anyone into the room that I wanted to and do whatever I wanted to, as long as I gave all of my roommates a heads up. And everything seemed to be going pretty good. And we talked about the con, we talked about the fandom in general, we talked about music. Everything seemed pretty good. He seemed legit, and I wasn't worried too much. There was one red flag, though, that I should have probably took note on, and that is when we were messaging on Telegram, we weren't exactly part of any groups together, that con-wise anyway, but any groups. We weren't part of any Telegram group, so that's something I should have probably took note on. But as I said, everything seemed to be going well. We chatted for a while, and up until the last week right before the con started, I paid him the $250, and we didn't talk until I actually got there on Thursday afternoon. But as night approached and he was selectively responding to my messages, I kept asking him, "Hey, when are you gonna be here? When check in, etc., etc." And he said, "Oh, I'm checking in now." And I was like, "Okay, when are you gonna get up to the room?" And he said, "Oh, just give me a few minutes. The room number is 610, I believe." So I waited about 15 minutes for him to get settled in. But I went down to the room, knocked on the door, and the person who knocked on the door, after I asked if this was the right room, they had no idea what I was talking about. So at that point, my heart sank, and I knew that I have been scammed. And what confirmed all that was the fact that I ended up sending him the person I was supposed to be rooming with and sent $250 to a few choice words. And not only has he not responded to any of that, but he also has never seen the messages. So I can only assume that after he has given me the room number, he blocked me. So yeah, not a fun start to the con by any stretch of the imagination. Thankfully, I did get a room. Someone overheard the whole situation that I was in, and they asked the other roommate, who was the person who got the room, if I could room with them, because apparently they had a last minute person ditch. And they was like, yeah, take and come room with us. And we know the situation you're going through, and we are not going to take no for an answer. So I wasn't going to take an argument with that. I decided to go hang out with them in their room, which they were in the Hampton, actually. And the rooms there are massive, by the way. Comparing that to the Weston rooms, the regular rooms in the Hampton are huge. But anyway, I want to take and just say thank you to Nyla and Blue and the other two roommates that were in there. I can't remember their names exactly. One of them was named Ash. I apologize for forgetting their names. But thank you to Nyla and Blue. You were an absolute lifesaver this con. Otherwise, I would have probably been sleeping in the bushes. I was told by a few friends that I should make a GoFundMe or donation page or something of that nature to help recoup the cost. And honestly, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to put my financial woes and burdens on other people. But if anybody is feeling generous, I do have a coffee page. And I'll also probably put some other kind of link down there. If you do want to take and help me out, then that will be there. But I'm not forcing anybody. I honestly particularly don't want anybody to do it. But if you are wanting to help me out, there are options. And if you do decide to throw a couple bucks my way to help me out, I deeply appreciate it. Like, greatly, deeply appreciate it. And no amount of thank yous will ever make up for any of that. But to make matters worse, after I got back from the con, the next morning after I woke up, I found out that my phone was dead. And I'm not talking about I need to plug it up dead and charge it. It's just dead. It will not turn on. I try to start it in bootloader mode. Nothing. I kept it charged for hours and nothing. It just completely stopped. And I have no idea what I'm going to do about that. Especially since my phone is literally the only way I am able to make any money right now. It is the only way I'm able to stay afloat in any capacity. So that's just another financial hit that I'm going to have to take. But I think the one thing that definitely sucks the most about me losing my phone is that were three things. There were three things that I wanted to take off of my phone that I took at the con, and I won't be able to get them back. The first was a picture of what I can only assume to be probably a mid to late 80s Volkswagen Vanagon Westfalia. And for those who don't know, Volkswagen Vanagon is a van, but it has the Westfalia mod on it, which makes it a tiny camper. I believe somebody brought that for the car show that was going to happen at AC this year, but that got canceled because of weather. But it is an absolute specimen of a machine, and I love it. It's well kept, and I wish I knew who actually had that thing, because I wanted to take a closer look at it. The second thing that I will not be able to get back is a 26-minute video of me and a friend riding in a Ford Model A. Yeah, the car show, speaking of which, somebody decided to bring their Ford Model A 1929, very good looking Ford Model A with an accompanying Ford Model T as well. That was somebody else's. I'm assuming they're friends, but I got to ride in that Model A, and it was an absolute blast to ride around in that thing. We did have a little bit of trouble starting it at first. Everything kind of died. The battery died. The engine got flooded a little bit, but we pushed it down the highway and it started right up. And I took the rest of the video as we were traveling around downtown Pittsburgh, and I was going to post that this week, but unfortunately, like I said, I can't get it off my phone. So at least there's always next year, since they said that they will be bringing that back, as well as trying to find a second one to also bring. So that'll be exciting. At the very least, I'll get to do that next year. But the last thing the one thing, and I could have lost the footage, I could have lost the picture of the Vanagon, but this one picture that I lost, and it's honestly kind of bringing me to tears even thinking about it. But I ran into one of my favorite furry YouTubers, one of my favorite YouTubers in general, really, at AC. And the YouTuber in question was Bolt Mutt or Mutts, whichever one you want to take and choose. They go by both, but for this video, I will be referring to them as Bolt, mostly because that's what I've known them as for a while. I've been watching their channel for quite a few years now. But yeah, they were just walking down the pathway going to the waterfront, and I'm like, is that can't be. That has to be Bolt because their head's so distinct. And I ran up to them. I was like, "Hey, are you Bolt?" And they was like, "Yeah, yeah. How's it going?" And all that stuff. We started talking. Of course, I got a picture with them. I obviously had to get a hug from them. There's nothing that's gonna keep me from getting a hug from another furry. And apparently, according to them, I give pretty good hugs. So if you're ever in the market for a good hug, just come find me at a con. But I also mentioned to them, I'm like, "Hey, do you remember commenting a few months ago?" And after I checked, it was actually more like a year ago at this point. Do you remember commenting on this video called Psychedelic Furry ASMR? And they was like, "Oh yeah, I remember the exact video you were talking about." And they were talking like, it was like, "Oh, I've actually watched your channel and stuff like that. I watched a lot of your videos." I was like, "Oh my gosh, my one of my favorite YouTubers actually does watch my channel," and that was a huge encouragement boost. Like, I've been feeling rough now for the past several months, and that was definitely a huge push that I needed to really help me get some sort of encouragement back to keep doing YouTube. It's always nice to know that some of your favorite content creators also do appreciate your work. And Bolt, if you have any sort of contact information, I would love to be able to chat again. I have some video ideas that I would love for you to be part of, and honestly, I think you would be really the only choice for these particular videos. So if you have any way I can talk to you, because I can't seem to find anything else other than Twitter, and well, I can't take a message you on there. I even asked Hun the Hound if he had your contact information, and he said that you were gone. So I would really love to be able to talk again. Like I said, video ideas, and I believe that you would honestly be the only choice for these particular videos. So if you have any way I can contact you, or if anyone else knows any way that I can contact Bolt, please, please let me know. So, in conclusion to this whole trip to AC, it has definitely felt different, and I took away two very important things from this con. One, I want to do everything in my power to make sure that everyone can experience this fandom in the most comfortable way they possibly can. Because I know if it was not for my friends, as well as potentially new friends, then I wouldn't be able to survive this fandom. It was my friends that basically helped me survive this recent weekend at AC. So I have absolutely nothing but gratitude, and I want to be that person to help others out as much as I possibly can. Because I know it might seem tough at times, but this is definitely a fandom I believe is worth being part of. But the second thing I really took away from this con is that it was very inspiring. Last year's AC, after I got back from it, I kind of felt small, insignificant, feeling like what could I do to possibly advance this fandom further? What can I do to express my form of art into the fandom? Because it seemed like it would have been pointless. What do I have to bring to the table at the furry fandom. And this year I found that, you know, don't worry about that too much. Don't worry about what you can bring to the table, and just do what you do. I have had a lot of fear of failure recently in trying to find my own sound, my own music, and I believe now that not only do I think I can find it, but I just need to take and just put stuff out there and let people hear it and see if they enjoy it. And, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but I still want it to be out there for other people to hear. And it also just comes to show that inspiration can come from just about anything, whether it's art, music, or even a small white fox marionette. It can be found anywhere. And it can honestly apply to just about anything you want to do. And the one thing that really pulled all that together for me, because I didn't realize that at first, but there was one thing that really pulled all that together, and it came one night after I got back to the hotel room pretty late. I laid down, put some earbuds in to listen to some music. I loaded up YouTube to an album from a band that I listened to called Axiom 9. They just recently had a new album come out, so I was like, I'm going to take and give it a listen to. And I looked in the description, and I saw that there was a couple quotes in the description that I kind of took heart to, especially the last one, which says, "Make the music you love, so others can love the music you make." And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make the music I love, so you all can take and enjoy it. At least I would hope so. And if not, that's fine too. The fact of the matter that I made it is honestly kind of a miracle in and of itself. But that has been my Anthrocon. It has been a blast, despite not being in the best favorable position financially, anyway, that's for sure. But like I said, I had fun. I had a good time. I can't thank my friends enough, whether it's Nyla, Blue, Samson, Eric, Bolt. Thank you also for talking to me down by the waterfront. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all who went to Anthrocon and made it an absolutely amazing con. And I hope to see you all next year. My next stop is IFC, and we'll hopefully see you there too. But that's where I'm going to go ahead and leave this one. Thank you all for listening. I hope you all have a great night, morning, day, wherever you are. And until the next one, I'm out.